Hello, and a warm welcome to another edition of the program SALONE Talk on TDN Africa Media. Thank you for joining me wherever you watch me from. Me, Diana Coker.
And me, Theophilus Gbenda.
TDN Africa Media.
Inside this edition of the program, we go and bring you the headlines on the front page of the newspapers. We also go look at the increase in fuel price, verification of Ecsl polling staff still ongoing, and also 50% pay rise for Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation workers. All this and more, the inside the program today. We will start off with the headlines from the front page of some of the local tabloids. And we will begin with the Calabash newspaper. On the front page of the Calabash newspaper, you get Dr. Duramani Lako bags International Award for Outstanding Financial Development. Peace Commission presents post-elections report to President Bio. Partnering to Serve Humanity concludes 3-day food mitigation at Kube. And Caritas Freetown and CRS engage Waterloo youths. Also, partnering, 50% salary increase for Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation. That's also the now headlines for discussion. We'll move on to the next paper, we now the SALONE Compass newspaper. Lands Minister sabotages Bio's government, takes undue advantage of citizens. Youth Minister promotes skills development, and Mercury ships appreciates Ecsl Sierra Leone. We move on to the Standard Times newspaper. On the front page of the Standard Times newspaper, lack of funding wrecks IMC operation. I think that's the Independent Media Commission. No subvention since September 2022. SALONE to establish embassy in Israel. We move on to the Concord Times newspaper. How Brotherhood may influence investigation into alleged graft at SLBC. Also on the front page of the Concord Times newspaper, Honorable Alusan Kane is now Chief Immigration Officer. Solidaridad gets new boss. From the Concord Times newspaper, we take the Gbenda newspaper. Its Minister Senesi providing cover for land grabbers. Ambassador of South Korea discusses bilateral relations with Chief Minister. We will move on from the Gbenda to Africa 24. On the front page, we will stabilize the economy. 2018 in 6 months, 2023 in 3 months. JJ Safa brags again. We vote for development. Stakeholders input local assure Bio. From the Africa 24, we now take Premier News, and the Premier News they carry on the front page. Electricity prices to rise. Lab assigns Legal Aid Board, that's the Legal Aid Board assigns 21 lawyers to handle 802 cases. And Tonic Entertainment to release Simboya movie. From the Premier News, we will take the Night Watch newspaper. On the front page of the Night Watch, it says Bio's SLPP a monstrous regime, according to former SLPP stalwarts. Panic at State House. Speaker of Parliament looks back. We go now move to the Independent Observer newspaper. On the front page, 21 lawyers to defend 802 detainees. Peace Commission presents post-elections reports. Well, that's now we final paper for today, and we go start for discuss some of the major headlines then this afternoon.
This afternoon, of course, yeah, this afternoon. And thank you so much, Madam Diana, for bringing come the headlines of we look at tabwebs. Well, of course, so many issues that come up. One of which now the fact say some concerns they over the way where the Minister of Lands they handle in office, and so there's need for talk about that in depth, and we said we'll do with own private investigation relating to that. But you know, land governance in SALONE will always be a major issue, and the sooner we get above all those land disputes relating to ownership, you know, the better. And then we look at this, say lack of funding wrecks IMC operations. No subvention since September 2022. And this is coming from no less a paper than Standard Times newspaper, one of the most outstanding and credible newspapers in the country. So you can imagine, say they must have got their source directly from the IMC. So since September, no subvention. How do you expect an entity to operate? And then we are seeing new entities coming up. Then in the midst of this, we are say the government, the plan for go open embassy na Israel. And with the say, of course, you know, some talk they go around for say the militants then Palestine don't begin the threatening. I mean, no, say if we go open we embassy day, this and that, that and that. But we'll get more information relating to that. But the fact of the matter is that Palestine not recognize the current area outside they go build the Israel the embassy, and so they are very much concerned that any other government will go side with them, that they consider them for be an enemy state. But the fact of the matter here is that state entities such as the IMC forget all the support where they need. The Human Rights Commission forget all the support they need. The Civic Education Commission, they should have all the support. Most of the commissions have become dormant. You can hardly hear about them. Yes, you can hardly hear about them. Of course, we got the Peace Commission, where those don't go give the report to the president, and the president in talk say he will continue for give them the kind of support what they need. So we look forward to that, but also they look forward to the strengthening, because President Bill said this kind of council, right? He said they can strengthen state institutions. And the only way for do that is to empower them. Not to empty talk. Give them the support what they need, financial, material, capacity, all the support what they need. Give them so that they will be able to produce the desired result. If state entities were responsible for service delivery are strangulated, then what do you expect of the end results? And at the end of the day, the performances of those MDAs, now they contribute greatly towards the success of any sitting president. So it is not just about establishing entities and then you not give them the required support. So that for me is a very, very major issue, and I think the president for take due note of that. Well, of course, we say a new immigration officer has been appointed in the person of Honorable Alusain Kane. The marriage they don't pull him, they don't put Honorable Alusain Kane. Well, We can only wish him well in his new assignment. We see lots of shifting. People the way we don't they pull them. I don't know. I mean, talk to one person. We talk say, well, not necessarily out of non-performance really, but out of the fact that there are so many people. So if you don't do 5 years, I mean, you'll give chance, no other person self come. If that is the way you want governance, then it is very bad because that person the way they come, and they can start afresh. Understanding first the situation, this and that and that. Why that person there will be done it now? He may not put things them already in place for move on, but that he not get the kind of support perhaps for make it deliver accordingly.
But not in all cases.
Well, not in all cases. I agree with you. Not in all cases. Some of them
now people make him perform better when they move to another institution. Maybe they have more knowledge how for one institution.
So if I ask you now for give example, it could be difficult for like give example. That's
no, but not in all cases. You could say because if you don't day for 5 years, if I continue for day.
Yes, exactly. But at the same at the same time, you don't mean to say because you don't do 5 years, so you therefore pull it in.
Well, he placed the president for replace him with somebody else.
Well,
and that we cannot question.
No,
he knows better why he decided for use than the expertise in this particular position where you don't put him.
I see your point. But of course, we don't see situations wherein somebody is sacked from a lower ministry, either because of non-performance or whatever, but then 2-3 months down the road, they appoint them to higher position, higher ministerial position. So how will you compensate for that? So what would they say is that, it's like the president, the constitution give him the privilege for hire and fire. But if we do them in the best interest of the country, otherwise, if the president doesn't do them at your will, say, okay, I can do it any way, then it end up one, for put square pegs in round holes, and for undermine the very development aspiration of your government.
Well, I think say the president in your wisdom, I think he know the best decision for make for the better, for the good of Sierra Leoneans. And the immigration in question we talk during the past 5 years, we see so many. There was a time for get passports, not serious problem. The queue in that immigration, the over 3 months they normally issue passports to citizens them.
So not immigration responsible for print passports. Now a private entity where they connect page. Now you get the contracts for print passport. Just that next page is operating as subcontract. But right now immigration department, now them for responsible for print out will passport them. But over the years, Thomas Belarus, where now a UK-based company where they print with passports, they will get issue of non-payment. So they can owe them almost $1 million. So that makes Thomas Belarus say, no, we are not going to work directly with the government anymore. We want to work with a private entity. That's how next page came in. So which means the immigration department, how can you be asking a company to produce passports and the passports are paid for before even processing and you're not paying the company that is printing? So that's how unserious we have been handling things. But the fact of the matter here is that, the change, we are not questioning it as long as it is in the best interest of the country. That is what we are saying.
Exactly.
If we notice that it is not in the best interest of the country, we have every right to say we are concerned about this. So you see what I mean?
So the passport is still there pegged at $100?
$100, of course. And if the dollar go up to 3 million today, God forbid, then the passport price will go to 3 million. And you cannot blame it on the contractor. You blame it on the negotiation, the agreement,
exactly,
which was pegged in dollar. But of course, you don't expect an international product for be pegged in leons.
Yes.
Because
but if they let me get somebody at the middle, then it will be more reasonable. as you don't explain, if they deal directly with Belarus, the price for me don't.
Oh yes, I agree with you. I agree with you.
But when you don't get a middleman now,
oh yes,
definitely.
Oh yes,
because
this next page, they get to staff them. Where did they pay? So if the immigration department be the responsible for produce to passport them.
If I can go sign this next page, then a salon.
Next page, the office then the immigration department.
Immigration department.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Because at one time I understand that they operate from Policy Lodge.
Well, no, I'm not so saying the office then because they not gonna give next page all the leverage for print for passport them. Otherwise, they can print for whoever they want for print. And at one time, we already say passport they don't begin reaching out some foreign at the hands of them. So therefore, the printing of passports is a very sensitive matter, and therefore has to be done under the full watch of the Ministry of Internal Affairs, under which you have the Immigration Department. So that is it. Of course, another headlines where come up where I fit to say we can talk about now the fact say Solidaridad don't get a new country director. Yes, and he's a very young man, Kojo. Yes, he's a friend. So we get for interview him on this program, you know, for tell you about Solidaridad more because they are doing so much in Sierra Leone and in Africa generally. Their head office is in Ghana, and this young man, we don't get this new appointment, is a Ghanaian.
And the last one was what? The outgoing.
No, honestly, I don't want to lie. I think I don't know, but I think he must be a Ghanaian. I think he must be a Ghanaian.
So this is like Ghanaian
it's a Ghanaian too. Yeah, it's a Ghanaian-based organization. They just spring. Now organization are big beyond Ghana, so they spring out. Oh, well, they're into promoting agriculture,
palm oil production,
best practice, international best practice. This is what they do. But we'll get more from Kojo, and we invite him so easily. He can come here, or we can get him on our VMix.
So the term of office of the other one will expire.
Well, you know, this is the NGO. Sometimes they promote and for go other side, you know. So that is it. Yes. Then he said this one is very important. They say we will stabilize the economy. I think this is very provocative. Very provocative.
Ridiculous.
Very ridiculous. I mean, you know. In 2018, JJ Sahr, when I be the chief minister, and of course one-time finance minister, say during the campaign, he condemned how the economy they run. They say APC now they don't know how to handle things. He said when they come, wallahi, it's like 6 months, the economy will take a different turn. Then few days to the election, to this 2023 elections, he was on radio again. He said, "Ben, again 3 months." He said, "Just give us 3 months. We'll handle the economy."
But who will take JJ Sahr?
But unfortunately, no, well, those who are.
Give them 3 months. When in 2018, you said 6 months.
I'm even surprised that they are quoting JJ Sahr because he's not even in the government anymore. He's not in the government anymore. So I wonder why they even bring a campaign. But anyway, this is somebody who just to make some, should I say, wild statements?
No, maybe not bogus statements, you know, go some side and just they talk how you feel.
So I will call a wild statement. Wild statement. Somebody else will call a reckless statement. For knowing that this is not feasible, that you say just because you want for who votes. That is wrong, right? So now, the economy is in a very bad state, and I think to say it is not good for our development. So you see, so it's not just about saying that we'll do this in 6 months, as if you are talking to idiots, you know. So that's the situation. You don't lie about things. Electricity price to rise.
Voila.
So now for radio, you have to be ready. You have to be ready.
I don't know why they decide for increase the price of electricity.
Well, fuel price has gone up. The cost of production, Dana. The other day, we heard when the Minister of Energy say government is subsidized about 31 million. Is it million or billion? $1 million. $1 million. The only question we'll ask, we say there is no way we can quantify or we can verify this, it could easily be a good way grant for chap. Sometimes some man not chap 10 million and they say, they spend $31 million for, So you see, so it is not about the figure, it is about how factual.
Honestly, this is not a joking matter. Cost of living is very expensive for people.
Well, that is it. That is the situation.
Go up, electricity charges, transportation. It's not going to be easy at all.
That is the situation when government decide to remove subsidies. Now, I'm not surprised anyway. I'm not surprised because from the time when government removes subsidies, it don't liberalize the fuel sector. That the fuel dealers, it is your game. You detect the pace now because the government is no longer in control. The government is no longer in control, and the fuel dealers then they report about high exchange rates, right, as compared to what then they go pay. Now the world market, you have to pay in dollars, and now for generate $100, another like today when I be 800 euros or 1 million euros, now it's about 2 point something, right? So for generate $100, you have to go over 2 million euros. So it's very hard on the petrol dealers, and as far as they're concerned, as far as government concerned, let the price go up than there is shortage.
It's fact.
Well, it's not so much about the fact, but about the fact say government should not abandon the people to their fate to an extent of removing fuel subsidy, knowing the effects what that could create on the ordinary man in the street on all prices of commodities, including electricity.
So that JJ Sahr, they talk say they're going to have like 3 months.
Well, JJ Sahr, we should just dismiss him as somebody who can just talk anything, and then if you say, well, the good thing is that he's no longer in the picture. He has been sacked.
Maybe he gets a say in the government.
Well, as far as we're concerned, he has no say. Otherwise, he should have been made an advisor.
They're so powerful people waiting at the sideline. You know what tell.
So why
they are so powerful that those where we they see when they're in public office.
Well, as far as we are concerned, it is not in any government appointment. Otherwise, we should know, right? Let President Bio. Recruit him as economic advisor.
Disaster.
Oh, economic disaster. All right, so I think we can go to the other issues now.
Okay, anyway, we'll move on with the very first issue, and we don't begin the discussion, but we will delve more into the impacts in how it will impact people, the increase in fuel price. So. From 25,000 to 30,000.
Exactly. In fact, I've been 21,500 to 25,000. From 25,000, or from 25 millions to now 30 millions. This is wow. This NSA trouble. It's a very serious matter. It's a very, very, very serious matter. But like I said, the government, they emphasize on the fact say availability is guaranteed. What the government cannot guarantee us about is the price. Even now we have 30 years, the government cannot protect us in the sense that the dealers they say we want to put up to 35 years, the government cannot protect us.
The government don't get control.
No, like I said earlier, the fuel market has been liberalized.
Yeah, so they don't get control.
It has been liberalized, such that even when they increase, now make me call out, but we headline say chaotic fuel price increase. Chaotic in the sense that it came in surprisingly, that one. The announcement was not accompanied by a regulation as it used for B. Where government they announce price increase, they back them up with a regulation. For say, as a result of this increment, transportation from this point to this point will now be this or that. As the price go up to 30 leos, we see Okada man they begin take, we started they take for 5,000, then they call for 8,000, for 8 leos. You want to go upline, what we use for pay 100 leos, they say now for pay 130 leos. So it was so chaotic to an extent that nobody was in control, nobody was in charge.
This is when they talk about collaboration, for letting they take prompt action. The Ministry of Transport and Aviation, for don't they in touch with the oil marketing companies then, as the price, as they issue the statement, so they say they issue statements with regards the different prices they will pay for transportation.
Well, I agree with you. I agree with you. That is what happens when things are done in a coordinated way. Mm-hmm. But when things are done chaotically, this is what you have. This is what you have, unfortunately. You see, and the transportation don't go up, market prices don't go up, and then the cost of living, obviously, don't go up far desperately.
Because now goods from Kabbalah to
yes,
Giton.
exactly. That is just one for transport goods.
Mm-hmm.
Now school can open. Most speaking that they go schools them where something like two-way transport for access to the school. So then are more burden on with the parents then.
And the school buses, they're not enough.
No, the school buses, you cannot even see them anymore. If you see them, if you see one pass, they go take.
No, they're not because school don't close now.
Yeah.
But you get some of them. You get buses them where they apply the to school open.
Yeah.
But they're not enough.
They are not enough. They are not enough, and they are hard to find. They are hard to find around.
Anyway, me can see them.
Yeah, well, because of the street trade day, you can see them. But how seldom? Every 2 minutes?
Not every 2 minutes. They get time when they run in the morning.
Yeah.
Honestly, I must be honest with that. Like 6 o'clock in the morning, you see the one where they go lonely, don't go lonely for take the beginning. Before 7, you don't call. The first bus don't call. You know. So with that timing, I think say it's okay.
Yeah, but what they talk now about that they're not enough.
They're not enough.
And they be promised, the government promised the office come, I think 100 or 200 buses, school buses for that matter. We have not seen them. And
this issue with them and city council that for fairly bus and blah blah blah. At times some days the day you go see go see bus they run because
the proper management procedures not being put in place. That's the problem. Because otherwise there should be no issue about how fuel will go to the vehicle. Or which side the returns for the school buses they go. If the council the returns they go to, like after the school bus don't work all day, then the council responsible for fuel. The council responsible for maintenance. So there should be no issue about that.
And this not only it. I remember one time we go the same thing we meet the school bus they pack now.
So I think what will come up is that what in the school buses that they make, enough can measure it to the amount of fuel where the bus that they consume. That's the problem. What make the council find that difficult?
Well, I need for disclose the amount that they make. They need to make a case. Say
I agree.
Amount's not enough.
I agree.
You don't sit down and just feel say people like go know what's the problem.
I agree. We don't see situations inside the school bus drivers that they strike. Because they can take them 3, 4, 6 months they pay their salary, my dear. So you see, so it's a very serious issue. So now, as a result of the removal of the subsidies, NIMEC will get this situation because the other time the government said that they subsidize just from January to June. Government said they subsidize fuel by 38 million United States dollars. That is billions and billions of leos where can go, according to the government, can go towards payment of salaries, can go towards now the recruitment of more nurses, more doctors, more this and that and that. So it is fair enough that this fuel subsidy is removed because then government they subsidize for some people them where they even at the private sector, they're mining companies, they're security companies, government is subsidizing for all of them. And there's a huge incidence of fuel smuggling into Guinea, for instance, according to reports. So which means all that fuel that they smuggle for going to Guinea, government subsidy they pay now. So government to say, this is too much for us. If we dey spend this amount of money, then we're not going to take care of other areas then. So government believes say that subsidy they can go na other areas then. Like I say, it is not as a result of any price increase in the world market. It is not as a result of any shortage of the commodity in the world market. It is mainly and only about the fact say subsidies were removed, and this is going to have a biting effect on the society. And fuel, just like rest, is a political commodity. Fuel is a political commodity. So if you see government decide for put fuel subsidies, then most people say, well, the government say, well, no, me, I'm not giving that again, no. Because they are even referencing what happened in Nigeria. When Tinubu, the new president of Nigeria, took office, the very first thing I do, now for remove 100% fuel subsidies. Because imagine how big Nigeria is, and imagine how the millions of dollars were to go towards fuel subsidies. So the president said, I'm going to remove it and let that money go elsewhere. So you see, so it's a very, very serious issue, and the cost of running government is really, really not easy. So I am beginning to pity this government for many reasons. One, they are not able to, or they are spending far more than they are generating. And now there's this issue of credibility and integrity over the election, where even the MCC
spending far more than they're generating.
Oh yes, of
course.
Oh yes, it's like you are doing business, Anna. You had money now 500 euros, and then you are spending 1,000 euros, which means the business is closed already. That is what is happening right now. So therefore, government would have maintained those subsidies if they don't cut down on expenditure in other areas. But then they say no, we not need for cuts. We can cut if we want to cut, but not put subsidies first. So it's a very serious issue anyway.
So I think the new Minister of Transport, in terms of making things be very comfortable for citizens, this argument back and forth with drivers there with transport fares, and that not say the Minister of Transport, what is the Ministry of Transport supposed to do as their role and responsibility for make problem not with passenger and driver them?
Well, not much, unfortunately, not much. They cannot do much. They cannot do much. They can only create the enabling environment for their fair dealers to operate.
In terms of the price,
the people government not get control over. Okay, you mean in terms of transportation?
Transportation.
In terms of transportation, government can only recommend that from Kalbachon to Waterloo, now 5 euros. This morning when the car work, I everyone put up one apprentice, they had Lovely, 5,000 euros. I think that'd be 3,500. They don't add 1,500. So don't go 5,000 euros. So therefore, it is going to affect big time all sectors. So, but going back to what you say is that the ministry got very, very little for do about this, unfortunately. Yeah.
The Ministry of Transport,
yes,
absolutely nothing.
They have little to do about it. They can only propose, they can only recommend that from this point to this point, there are 5 years, but they are not on the ground to monitor whether anybody is taking advantage. So and mind you,
the police,
and mind you, even the drivers, the proposal drivers, they're in the habit of going halfway. When they traffic, they say, we now only stop. What we now? So government should have mechanism in place to monitor compliance, which is lacking.
I think say the police now they don't work that day for
the police they get their work also. The police they get their work for control traffic.
But they didn't area they will say the turn where they're not supposed to turn.
Most time the police they say not to use out to map that they can't turn. That's what they say. You see, okay. And the police themselves they rely
the policeman.
The police themselves they rely on the drivers them for the responsible how to mount. You see, because the drivers them, apart from the fare whether they pay very high, according to the information, according to the drivers their own confession, they say for instance from PZ to Kalbaton. Sometimes you go pass through 10 police checkpoints. Well, anytime you go in the book. Anytime you go in the book. So therefore, it's not just about the fuel, but about those bookings, about what is going to the vehicle master, and about what is staying with me, the driver.
That is booking.
The booking. Now illegal arrangement. For let the driver get smooth passage. For let the police are not going to be asking for license, they're not going to be asking for trafficator, they're not going to be asking for park light, they're not going to be asking for this and that. When you go there, you park your motor car, you go straight to one small box. That's what we call it. One small pam body or buffer. Who said they go pay money? I don't know how much they are paying, but it is not small money because for the day, I'm sure those officers are making millions and millions and millions of euros. And that makes some man in the first hard for them to deploy them that checkpoint because the man could play today.
So even if that driver gets smooth tire, even if
no, not
all that thing that
they're not worried about that.
Say they're safe now the road.
No, they're not worried about that. It is not a stress. Their stress is come to our checkpoint and do the needful. Do the needful. You can go. Save journey.
Okay. All right. Well, we will end with that. We move on to the next. The verification of Ecsl polling staff still ongoing. It means still they not get the paid because the verification not complete yet.
Okay.
I don't know whether there are other things them we don't make this verification so they don't delay a lot.
Thank you so much.
Don't delay.
Now the number of people that were involved, that is one, and the fact that Ecsl does not have the money and therefore has to rely on UNDP, where UNDP says habub forget money from Irish aid. So that is the chain. So because of donor intervention, they want to make sure that the money reaches to those where the money lands. They not just want to go put money in Ecsl hand. The Ecsl tomorrow say, okay, we have paid. We are done with that. So you see? So but what's happening right now is that people are very unhappy that the process is going at a very, very snail pace. But then the government said they don't already register, or the Ecsl said they don't register already over 38,000. And we are talking here about over 91,000 people. So if you don't register 38,000, it means you have not even gone off. But then registration, they close on Friday. So we ask the question, so if person not go register or go verify after this 31 days, what happens to the person?
Automatically, you know, will pay you. So if you know, say you're not part of the team, when we take part, when we work during the election, where they be employed, then the best thing for doing that for go do verification.
Yes, of course you're right.
That's not the only
but
thing.
Most of them pulling staff there, so not get contracts, so not be signed the attendance list for say we are here. They don't sign and say we left for going to Wolseley now. There's nothing like that. There's nothing to show for most of them. There's nothing to show.
At least, it's serious. It's really serious. But why you not for sign attendance? Say you be there at the police.
Well, because they were not properly orientated. They were not properly orientated. And if you are not properly orientated, you go to the police station, you don't even know what to do. That's unfortunate. You don't even know what to do.
Well, then somebody else need for confirm there. Say they be attended.
Well, yes, exactly. No, but could like what take place. But could like what take place. But could like
all
what take
this
place.
you go blame on Ecsl. They not do the work well.
Okay.
You know, they don't cause all this problem for people. They not forget their money on time. Because when the system is there,
yes,
then there's not going to be too much delay on this whole thing.
You're right. There's no system in place. Unfortunately, look at they have to rely on UNDP and UNDP second for Habub per another entity. So that is how the team plays. So anyway, so in fact, some of the workers them don't begin stage demonstration. They say no money, no verification. They say we Utaya. So they are displaying their placards for saying we're not happy, this and that. And some of them, they were turned away. They were turned away because of verification.
Well, for me, I would say the need for exercise patience. The need for be patient with the process, because if I mean it's SLF for pain, then for me don't then it's SL for the handle your own problem. But this now the money there for come out from the donor, and they need for get value for money. They're not going to go put the money just like that. Then they're not going to the hands the way you're not supposed to go. Some people they will not do nothing during election day. Then they go receive millions of euros.
Well, so now all that UNDP they try to prevent, because like we told last time, one of the things that they find out is that one man under your name and code, they get 15 on a Monday when I ain't go take them. So how can UNDP treat that? It's difficult. So anyway, it's the situation with the CI they unfold, but so far the registration still go on. A lot of people that don't run out of patience. Some are still being patient, but at the process they done on the 31st of April, in the end on Friday coming. This Friday they cancel. Now the process they done. Sorry about that.
Okay, then.
And then they say online verification is also allowed. But if we don't want to go to line, a difficult one. How about online?
Online.
Well, anyway, let's see how it goes anyway. But some people are not happy. They are even starting to demonstrate. Yeah.
Okay, but I think we will still appeal to them for maybe exercise some patience. If you know say you really go work and you want your money, you get for patient. And no matter how it is, you must get that money there. I know say it's difficult for you now. Maybe now you depend on your able plan for do something, especially now when school day about for open. But please be patient, exercise patience. You will get your money, So that's so we will end up at the we'll go to final topic now when at the 50% pay rise for the workers of the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation.
All right. So that's again is a very wonderful news, because just last week, is it the Monday edition? The Monday edition, SABC name will come up in the on the news over refusal for handover financial statement for onward audit. That was a negative news. And then for this edition, it's a positive news that every staff of SABC go get a salary increment of 50%. So if you be get 6,000 euros, when I 6 million euros, you will now begin get 12. If you be get almost 1,000, you will now begin forget this. It's 50% increment, and this was disclosed by no less a person but the Minister of Information and Civic Education, Brother Cherno Bar. And it said the Ministry of Finance, through the Office of the Financial Secretary, don't announce or don't accept and don't approve Ecsl the request for salary review.
Ecsl.
The Ecsl. That the Ministry of Finance don't approve SLBC the request for salary increment, because Joseph Gbenda Kapua, when the general manager, on the 23rd of January 2023, they write a letter to the financial secretary. And they beg, say, we have Mr. to the sofa. They allow will review the salary. So inside this August, now the ministry don't reply for say, we have approved your request for salary increment.
So when it go take effect?
June next year.
Next year, June.
June next year. June next year, now they take effect. You see, for many people they were expecting it to have taken effect almost immediately. But government, not process. So government say, do not approve more, but I will take June next year. So some are not vexed, some are not happy. But at least there is a ray of hope. Because some of the SABC staff, and I stand to be corrected, according to the information, said that they get as low as 600 euros per month.
But that day below the minimum wage.
It is far above the minimum wage. The government minimum wage say 800 euros. And in fact, according to the last Minister of Information, it talks say the salary they don't review them to as high. They don't review them, really. So anyway,
if person they get 600,000 euros, how you go live?
It's difficult, of course. It's very difficult. Sometimes the person go for do something unprofessional. You see, and the media is a very professional entity. For let go subject matter to that kind of situation, it is very, very bad. So that's not also yes.
So the next
yeah, well, I would just this time we last take actually because today we'll decide for just deal with the issue there, and then that's it.
Okay. And the Salone Broadcasting Corporation, they right across the country, get different offices them, Bombo, Kelma, all across the country, they get staff them.
Sure.
So the government really need for taking time because
absolutely
the amount of staff, the number, not too small staff strength they get, for let them go able to increase all manning salary.
Right.
So maybe now that make them decide for send on to June, you say next year? June next year, So this information we get was 600,000. Is it for the category of people that already receive the amount of 600,000?
Well, before I come on air, I called somebody when a staff of SABC. Of course, I'm not going to disclose the name for obvious reasons. I asked them. I said, but what are the minimum? What are the salary for the average staff at SABC? They say, well, like me, so when I take donkey years, my salary never reach 4 million. I said, well, thank you. I mean, they say, why some other man them, they get as low as 600 euros. I said, but this is below the minimum wage. They said, well, that's how it's happening. I mean, so very unfortunate, of course.
Very unfortunate for somebody for take home 600,000.
Yes, below the minimum wage.
It's very unfortunate because if you think of it gets became, it gets wealth, it therefore parents at the end of maybe the year, it therefore pays school fees, then I don't know how you therefore live.
It's serious. It's a very serious matter, of course.
And it's a shame for SLBC for the pay as low as 600,000 euros.
Big shame.
If that is true, because we can't confirm them, because we not see the evidence for proof say na 600,000 euros, but not the information where you get from the person where you talk to.
Exactly.
But anyway, the good news now that in June next year, if you get 600,000, the amount will increase to almost 1.2 million.
Okay.
50% increment. So until you wait for that increment, then you therefore be committed to your job and just be patient until the term reach where you money will increase. Well, now so we'll come to the end of the program today. Salone Talk on TDN Africa. Thank you for joining me. We hope you will join me again on Friday for the final edition for this week. Me, na Diana Kuka, DC. Tata.
Me, na Theophilus Gbenda, and I say thank you so much to the technical man, Tijan Bangora.